Moving abroad, thousands of Palestinians have taken shelter at Al-Shifa Hospital, the Gaza Strip's biggest medical center that has recently received evacuation orders from Israel. But civilians sheltering in tents in the grounds of the hospital say they have nowhere else to go and they are not planning on leaving. Food and clothing stalls have been set up around the hospital. The Israeli military accused Hamas on Friday of using the main hospital in Gaza as a shield for its tunnels and operational centers. Health officials say the hospital now houses nearly 50,000 displaced Palestinians. Medical officials in Al-Shifa and Al-Quds hospitals say airstrikes have hit near their buildings. The UN Humanitarian Office, OCHR, says 117,000 civilians are sheltering alongside thousands of patients and doctors in hospitals in the north. Well, the United Nations has called for more humanitarian relief as Israel continues with its attacks on Gaza. A donor conference is currently underway in France with the aim of raising funds to support humanitarian needs of Palestinians. For more, let's cross live to SABC's news correspondent Alex Cardier in Paris. Alex, thank you for being with us. Who's organizing the conference? Who's attending?
Well, the main organizer, of course, is President Macron of France. He has summoned international leaders to join him to find a solution to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. We heard from him just a few moments ago, opening this conference, saying that he condemned very forcefully Hamas's terrorist attack on Israel on October 7th, but also saying that the crisis is now focusing on preserving lives in Gaza as well. He said that all lives have equal value and that there can be no double standards when it comes to war. And crucially, President Macron also calling for a ceasefire for the first time, strengthening that position, prioritizing that humanitarian aid. Now, some of the attendees, the European Council President Charles Michel, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, have made the trip down from Brussels. The Norwegian Prime Minister is here as well, as are the presidents of Cyprus, Greece, and the leaders of Georgia, Montenegro, Armenia, amongst others. The UN Refugee Agency for Palestine is also present, as well as the Norwegian Refugee Council. So that is one of the issues being put forward, is that humanitarian response. So a mixture of world leaders and NGOs here in Paris today.
So will it be political as well, in a sense? Reportedly an official, a high-ranking deputy prime minister, in fact from Belgium, is saying let's start with sanctions against Israel. Will this be European nations also deciding what might become a joint stance towards what is happening and towards both Israel and the Palestinians?
Well, that joint stance at the moment from the European Union is calling for humanitarian pauses. We saw that from the European Council of 27 member states last month. The Deputy Prime Minister of Belgium is sharing one view, but it is not the view of the Belgian government. We have seen the Prime Minister of Belgium, Alexander De Croo, calling for a ceasefire and saying that the Israeli response has been disproportionate. That is not the view expressed at the peace conference in Paris today. So far, President Macron calling for a ceasefire, but not going into the detail of that Israeli reaction. Of course, the Israelis are the big missing factor in this conference. They have not been invited. The Palestinian Prime Minister is in attendance, but the Israelis have not been asked to join by the French government. The French government saying that they are keeping their Israeli counterparts posted of the developments. But there appears to be certainly a shift. While the European nations were very much sympathetic with Israel, stood by Israel's right to defend itself, the focus is now shifting on that humanitarian crisis in Gaza. We saw the European Commission boosting its humanitarian funding by 25 million euros, going over 100 million euros to support civilians in Gaza, and that seems to be the focus in Paris here today.
All right, thank you very much, Alex Cardier, reporting live from Paris, and we'll keep tabs on what comes out.